afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our TMA HIT session this morning. Great to have HSBC live with us today. We're delighted that they have joined our protection panel. So I'm going to welcome Claire Bostock and Ashley Dale to go through a presentation shortly. Just before we do, just a few housekeeping things really. Obviously your camera and your lights are turned off. If you have any technical difficulties, if you could contact the broker support team at TMA, you can email them customerservices@tmaclub.com or marketing@tmaclub.com, and someone will resolve any issues you have technically. If you've got any questions as we go through the presentation, then if you can put those in the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen, then we'll get those questions to our two presenters in a timely manner so that we can answer questions as we go. But thank you for taking time out for joining us this morning. HSBC Live have got a great story, and so actually we're going to crack on now with their presentation. I think, Claire, you're starting us off, are you?
I am indeed, yes. Thank you so much, Jackie.
Welcome.
Thank you. Yes, my name is Claire Bostock. I am Senior BDM for HSBC Live. I am based up in the north, in Cheshire. I look after the north and Northern Ireland. Ashley Dale, my colleague, who heads up the remote BDM team, will be going through some detail also. But as a team, we've been so excited to launch with TMA and really looking forward to it. If you need absolutely anything, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. I'm sure we will be getting opportunity to speak to you more on an individual basis over the coming weeks. But as I say, if you need absolutely anything, please don't hesitate to ask. It's always really, really good to hear from you. So to give you an overview of what we'll be looking at today, Ashley, if you want to move out. So first of all, we will be giving a bit of a background on our proposition, on our journey. We'll be looking at our critical illness plan, our award-winning critical illness plan, including children's cover. And then Ashley's going to cover over our underwriting processes and our added value services. But first of all, to give you a bit of background and overview, I'm sure you are all very familiar with the HSBC brand name. Obviously, a really, really strong brand name. We've always had a proposition for our internal banking customers, well, since 1988 when the life company formed. But about 5 years ago now, we took a new direction, which was to offer our products onto the external intermediary market. So 5 years in, we are growing very, very rapidly now. We have a life insurance product and 2 critical illness plans, one of which is award-winning. But on the runway for the next 18 months, we have a vast amount of development going on our runway. We've got lots of enhancements that are happening to our existing product suite and our processes, etc. But also on our runway over the next 18 months, we have an income protection product coming. There's all sorts of exciting things coming, and we'll keep you updated on those as they land. But the HSBC Life process is a very slick digital process. It's digital for yourselves as advisors and for customers as well. A couple of seconds after you put a policy on risk, the customer will get an automated email inviting them to set up access to the secure online client portal. And that is where all the documentation is held. All the information about the policies that they have purchased, all the information on the disclosures that they've made. So it's really important that the customer is aware of the client portal and that they engage with that. And the customer will not get a paper set of documents unless they specifically request them from our support team. If the customer would like some paper docs, then that's fine. They can request those. Or alternatively, if you like to send out a little welcome pack yourselves, you can download copies of the documents from the advisor portal, print them off and put them in a pack. So you have a few options there, but we are a digital proposition, and we will communicate with the customer electronically throughout the term of the policy. The customer must have a valid email address in order to have an HSBC Life product. It's an instant underwriting decision. So the outcome will either be an accept, a decline, or a refer, but that refer is not into a traditional manual underwriting route. That refer is into our enhanced digital underwriting route. It really is quite groundbreaking technology, actually. It's an industry first, and it enables us to process these referred cases and increase our acceptance rates very, very quickly. And if you get opportunity, have a look at my LinkedIn profile. I've got a video testimonial from one of my distributors that just describes the journey that they had from using this enhanced digital underwriting process. That this was the fastest case that I've had through. The case was put on a Friday. This was for a higher med limit case. The nurse went round, did instant screening in the customer's home on the Saturday, and the case went on risk on Monday. So that's how quickly we can turn these things around. We're never going to ask you for a doctor's report that's going to take weeks and weeks. So it really is a very streamlined service. And if you want any more detail on the enhanced digital underwriting process and how that all works, then absolutely we can go through that. So our acceptance rates are very high, actually, purely based on the system-based journey itself, without using the enhanced digital underwriting process. Our straight-through acceptance rates are around about 74%, just purely off the system journey with the reflective questions. So it is really, really high acceptance rates. We have a suite of added health benefits, which are it's a really strong programme, actually. Ashley's going to tell you a little bit more about those, so I won't steal his thunder there.
Don't steal the thunder, Claire. Don't steal it.
Absolutely, sorry. Yeah, I'll try not to, I promise. I do get a bit excited about our wellbeing programme. I've got to admit, but no. Our payout rates are market leading, as you would expect from such a strong brand name as HSBC. And we are a top rated product on CI Expert, which I'm going to tell you a little bit more about in a second. So our critical illness plan, we have two plans. If you just want to move on to the next slide, Ashley, thank you. Oh, sorry. Well, first of all, I'm going to give you an overview of our products. So we have the maximum assured there, based for life insurance and for critical illness on the right. The figures in black are, and the figures in red are using our enhanced digital underwriting process. As I said to you before, that is a really streamlined journey. It doesn't take very long at all. Maximum age entry is 69, minimum term of 5 years, maximum term of 50 years. We go up to 90 for life and 80 for critical illness. So quite a few years later than some of our competitors there for critical illness. Our heart attack definition, I'm going to tell a little bit more about in a moment. There are no severity requirements on that. And there is free mortgage and underwriting cover for up to 90 days. So if you're setting up the protection in conjunction with a mortgage, you can forward start date the policy up to 90 days, and the customer is fully covered within that time without making a payment. UK residents only. Our definition of a UK resident is if the customer is registered in the UK for tax purposes, they have a UK address and a UK bank account, we will accept them as a UK resident for a policy. And the only additional criteria to that is if the customer has a second property abroad, At the time of application, they must spend more than 50% of the year in their UK address. So just taking a look at our two critical illness plans here. So we have a core plan and we have a plus plan. And you can see that little cover emblem on the top right hand side there. At the end of last year, our critical illness plus plan was voted the strongest standalone critical illness plan in the marketplace. It really, really is a very, very comprehensive plan. It's something we're really, really proud of, actually. The core plan is a good entry-level plan. It is very, very competitive. According to our statistics, 50% of the time, the core plan will be the most competitive in the marketplace. If it's not number one, it will nearly always be top three. The core plan has 38 full payment conditions and 2 additional payment conditions, which trigger a payment of £25,000 or 25% of the sum assured, whichever is the lower. On that plan, I believe it's less advanced breast cancer, less advanced prostate cancer. The plus plan has 50 full payment conditions and 40 additional payment conditions, which trigger a payment of £50,000 or 50% of the sum assured, whichever is the lower. So it is a very, very comprehensive plan. One of the reasons we score so highly is our children's critical illness cover. So on both plans, kids are covered for everything their parents are covered for. On the core plan, the kids are covered from 30 days old to the age of 21. And on the plus plan, they're covered from birth for 8 childhood-specific medical conditions to the age of 23. Now, that's not linked to full-time education. That purely goes off the child's age. So it is a very, very comprehensive children's cover. There is no additional cost for children. It covers any children that the customer has when they take the policy out and any children that they have after taking the policy out. It's any children that the customer has legal responsibility for. So yeah, no additional cost for kids, automatically covered, a really, really comprehensive children's critical illness offering. There is also children's bereavement benefit, which is 5k on the core plan and 10k on the plus plan. On the plus plan, there is also children's hospital benefit. A lot of our customers wouldn't get sick pay in that scenario if your child was in hospital. So if a child is in hospital for 7 consecutive nights or more, it triggers a payment of £100 a night to care for a sick child, up to a maximum of 30 consecutive nights. There is joint life separation benefit available. So if your policy, if your customer takes a joint policy and splits up with a partner, they can have a policy in their own right without any further underwriting questions. And there's also guaranteed insurability options, the GIO, up to 50% of the sum assured at the policy start date to a maximum of an additional 150,000. Is somebody asked a question there? I'm not sure. I just saw a little question ping up. So.
Yes, the question I've got on here, Claire, is for critical illness, is the customer covered from day one?
Yes, they are. Yes, absolutely. There's no wait time for critical illness. They're covered from as soon as the policy goes on risk. Absolutely. So you can see there a little testimonial at the bottom from CI Expert, one of the most highly rated products on our system. HSBC Life is consistently in the top rankings on CI Expert. This is absolutely true. I don't know if you guys use CI Expert often. I go in most mornings actually to do a new extracts just to check what's happening in the market and just check that we're still getting that top spot. In the vast majority of scenarios, you will find the HSBC Life Plus plan is ranked the strongest proposition in the marketplace. Tends to be ourselves, Guardian, perhaps AIG Enhanced that take those 3 top spots. If there are children, if you put in a scenario on CI Expert that the customer has children, we will always be top. It's our children's critical illness cover that really pushes up our rankings, but there are many other reasons why we are up there as well. One of them is our heart attack definition. So I mentioned about the no severity for our heart attack definition before. All other insurers, with the exception of ourselves and Guardian, will follow the ABI definition, which is linked to troponin levels in the blood work. So basically what that means, customer has a heart attack, they are rushed to hospital, blood work is taken. And in order to meet the definition of all other insurers, except for ourselves and Guardian, the troponin levels must reach a certain amount. With our definition, it is purely, to summarise for you, if a cardiologist has confirmed that a heart attack has taken place, then we will pay out. So it's really, really important. It's not something that your customers will think about on their own. And I think when you mention things like the heart attack definition, you really, really do sort of instill in customers the part that taking professional advice plays in making these decisions. So really, really important, our heart attack definition there.
And we just had another couple of questions come through, Claire. So just thought what we strike while they are on top should be quite straightforward, I think. So Rebecca's just asked if we could get this sheet out on email.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure we can do a PDF for this, can't we, for the presentation and send it out to everyone?
Yeah, there's all sorts of resources as well, like quick reference tools on our advisor area on our website. If you have a look in the resource area, but absolutely we can send copies out, no problem at all.
We can send this, if we can take this page out of your presentation, we can send this with the CPD certificates.
Oh,
absolutely.
fantastic.
We get that sorted for you, no problem.
And then the other question, which I'll jump on because it's going to jump into my section from Paul, is there a pre-underwriting line to call as you've got somebody with some pre-existing conditions? And Paul, you are slightly jumping the gun, but I like your excitement because it is going to fall into my section in a minute. So just a little while longer, and I promise you there'll be some answers to that. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Claire.
Thank you. So here we have a graph that shows how age restrictions can impact children's cover. I mentioned to you about how strong our children's critical illness cover was. So with some providers, you can see where the cover stops there. As you can see by the grey shaded area, the HSBC Life product really does give additional protection based on claims incidents between the ages of 18 and 23. And also with the cover beginning from birth for those childhood specific medical conditions, muscular dystrophy, Down syndrome, cystic fibrosis, cerebral palsy, it really does give for a very comprehensive children's critical illness offering. So I'm going to hand over to Ashley now to take you through the rest of the presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Claire. And a very good morning, everyone. So in this part of the presentation, I'm going to be taking you through our underwriting journey, as well as our added value benefits and how they can help with the retention of business, particularly during these really difficult financial times for clients. So at HSBC Life, we don't ask for GP reports. And as Claire mentioned earlier on in the presentation, when a decision's made, it's either we'll accept a decline or a referral decision is triggered. And in that instance, we'll instruct a medical screening through our partner Square Health, and therefore avoiding any impact to the NHS and helping to improve timeframes both for you and for your client. Now, you may be aware, but there are currently about 160,000 requested medical screenings per year. Now, that's about a total of 8% of all applications, and only 4 in 10 of those end up going on risk. As we know, GP reports can take very long time to come through. 46% take over about 5 weeks, and some over 6 months. That's a waste of your time, and more worryingly, 96,000 clients are left unprotected. So we decided we wanted to do something a little bit innovative in our approach. So when you come to HSBC, you'll quote on our sourcing system and then proceed to application. When a case refers, the system will immediately ask you to complete your client's email and phone numbers, which again, what Claire mentioned, the email is critically important to us, and we'll send that to our partners in Square Health. They'll attempt to contact the client within 48 hours to arrange an appointment for a nurse to visit them, and that can be at home or work, whatever's convenient for them. And this can be arranged 7 days a week and also into the evening as well. So we will work with the client to find the best possible time for them. Now, the appointment takes less than half an hour, and in that time, the nurse will typically will look at reconfirming medical information with the client, looking at their height and weight, their blood pressure and pulse. They'll take a urine sample where they're looking for protein, sugar, and blood, and they'll do a urine coating test for non- and ex-smokers. And if the client indicates that they're diabetic, we'll also look to do a blood test as well, and a foot pulse check. Now, the nurse then submits the information immediately on their tablet, and that goes through to our underwriting engine instantly as well. And there's a clever bit of technology in there that instantly reviews that information and decides whether we can accept, which it will do in about 75% of cases, and the other 25% will go to an underwriter to look at. And that process then takes around 2 to 3 days to come back with a final decision. And all of this is updated through the HSBC online portal, which you'll have access to. So you'll know exactly what's going on with that process, so you're in control of it at all times. And it certainly beats having to wait weeks and months for a GP report. Now, the quickest one we've done was submitted on a Friday. The nurse went round on a Saturday, and the case was put on risk on a Monday. I'm pretty sure that was yours, Claire, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. Sorry, I didn't realise you were going to tell them about that, actually. I kind of jumped the gun there, didn't I? I was just getting excited about that.
We can say it twice. It's so good, we decided to say it twice. So, yeah. And if there's a diabetes test, then the blood test will take around 3 days to return from the lab. So still a really super quick turnaround time. Now, our straight-through approval continues to rise, and with the support of the underwriting tool, coming back to your question before, Paul, you'll be able to identify upfront if the case is best placed with us. Now, we have no exclusions at present, so it's either an in or an out kind of process, which means if we accept based on family history or existing conditions, it's just an accept. So, as mentioned, we now have a fantastic pre-underwriting tool with no need to call or email into an underwriter to get an initial decision. It's a digital rules engine which links into our platform questions, and there's no need to complete multiple assessments for different conditions. It can all be done in that one place on that one case. So we just need date of birth and occupation. It's intuitive to your customer's situation. If you let us know there's something you need to tell us, you can then go and add that information in. And I think this is a particularly good thing is it's located on our public website. Now that means you don't have to log in each time to actually go in and use it. So if you just wanted to have a check around of something, even if you didn't have an agency with us yet, you can go and have a look and start to see all the great reasons around why you'd want to come to HSBC Life and start working with us. You can keep a copy of it for your records as well with your own personalised reference number. Now, we do have a short video that talks you through that particular process. Now, I'm hoping you're going to be able to hear this all right. If you can't hear it for any reason, which, as we know with technology, sometimes happens, if you could just let me know, and then I'll talk you through it a little bit instead. But let's give it a go.
If you guys can't hear it, and if you raise your hand, we'll know that people are struggling to listen.
Perfect. Thanks, Jackie.
There isn't any sound, Ashley.
There's no sound, is there?
Yeah.
Okay. That's no problem. Well, let me talk you through it. So, as I say, the tool is completely interactive. So very, very simple to use. On our website, you can enter multiple medical conditions. For for 2 clients. So it can be a joint application. You can enter all their own individual situations, and the system will then work out the individual loadings within it, and then give you those loadings at the end. So you'll again know what to expect for your client. You can include family history. So that will again be able to be entered. And there's some really good rules for accepting countries within there that you might not expect. So it's always worth looking, particularly if somebody's been travelling around a fair bit at HSBC Life, because it can be quite surprising what we will do. Now, we've got straight through acceptance for BMI up to 40. There is a link next to the tool which actually tells you where that fits in. So for certain ages, it will be slightly different, but it is available up to 40. So we've got a TPD outcome in there as well, and that's for own occupation and daily activities. And you can include those higher risk hobbies as well. So if they do like a bit of skydiving, you can include that at the same time, and we can check that out for you. You've got the link to the non-medical limits as well. You've got the enhanced digital underwriting fact sheet, and as I mentioned, BMI table as well. Now, what we'll do when we send this out, we'll try and send you the video as a separate attachment. So actually, if you want to go and have a look at it, you can do, or we'll give you the link on the website as to where it is as well. So you've got a few different options that you can watch the video in your own time as well.
We just had a question there actually from Sarah, and it's just, will every client need a nurse screening, or does it just depend on the answers to the underwriting questions? Do you want to answer that, Ashley, or shall I? It's up to you.
Well, it's exactly that. So it will depend on the underwriting questions. So some will be straight through, around 74% will be straight through processing, and then you'll have that option in those circumstances. For example, for diabetics to go then through to the enhanced digital underwriting process.
And there's another question here from Keith Fleming. If an applicant can't accurately remember all the answers to their medical questions, can they ask HSBC to request their medical report to avoid non-disclosure?
I'll let you take that one, Claire.
So no, that's not something that we do. It isn't. We never use the doctor's report scenario. With some of the answers, they don't need to actually know the specifics. So, for example, with like their diabetes results and things like that, the question really they can answer: was it good? Acceptable, I can't remember the parameters now, or below what was expected, and those answers will actually get you through the journey and trigger the medical screen. And at the medical screen, we will do the blood tests, which gives us the HbA1c reading. So just because they don't necessarily know the specific results doesn't mean that we can't get them through the journey. But no, in answer to your question, we wouldn't write off for a medical report. We don't use the doctor report service purely because of the time that it takes and for the additional pressure that it puts on the NHS as well. We wanted very much to avoid that scenario. So yeah, hope that answers your question. And there's one more question from Alistair Dunning here. Can you access HSBC Live through Underwrite Me? And the answer to that is absolutely yes, Alistair. Yes, you can. Yes. And yes. Our product works really well on Underwrite Me. Absolutely. So yeah, if you need switching on Underwrite Me, that's absolutely no problem. We can get that done really, really quickly for you.
Brilliant.
That's it for questions.
Thank you, Claire. Thank you very much. So moving on to a little bit more about our diabetic cover, which is a really recent release and timed very nicely with going live with your good selves. And there are currently around 3.9 million people with type 2 diabetes. And this approach recognises those who are improving and monitoring their condition and lifestyle. As I mentioned before, there's a specialised exam which includes diabetic history, foot pulse and blood test as part of that enhanced digital underwriting. And that uses our slip nerve screening process. Now, the good thing is the blood test itself is non-fasting. So there's not a big sometimes when we put these little barriers in front of a client, if they had to fast for a few days before, that can naturally put people off. But the good thing is the nurse can turn up and do that particular test. So things to consider with the type 2 diabetic cover. So we're looking at the loading, including the BMI, must exceed 150%. Life cover can be increased up to 150%, so younger ages can be considered. We're looking for low cardiovascular risk factors, low smoking consumption per day. That's specifically to life. So yes, you can still smoke and get covered with type 2 diabetes with us. And there can't be any diabetic-related complications, so kidney issues, hyperglycemic attacks, that sort of thing as well. And we're looking for good readings, good levels from the client when we go out and do the blood test. It's the daily test and the I can never do the initials. I should have written them down. But the two, MMOL, which is the daily one, and then go on, Claire, you do the other one. What's it called?
The HbA1c.
That's the one. I always forget the letters. I didn't want to get it wrong, and then you're all going to be wondering what the heck I'm talking about. So yeah. And then in front of you, we've got a couple of examples there. Got someone in the age of 35, diagnosed 3 years ago. He's had his review in the last 6 months, and then the MMOL reading at 5.1. So you can see we can offer both life and CI with TPD on that particular one. And then you've got an older client, again, non-smoker, diagnosed a bit further away, no associated conditions, hasn't been to A&E, and the HbA1c reading is 6.6. And actually, you'll see we can offer very competitive terms on that as well. So we're open for business for this. We want diabetics who are maintaining the condition really, really well, so that we can offer them some great cover, award-winning cover, as Claire might have mentioned previously a couple of times. So I'm going to say it because I haven't. So my favourite bit, which is added value services. I'm really passionate about added value services because they add so much for your client, and we see such a high proportion of those that claim retain their policy. So if they're using these, you've got a much higher propensity for these clients to stay and keep this on plan for the term. And we just made some fantastic changes to this, and we're going to be making some more. So as good as it is now, it's going to be even better, which is great news. So let me talk you through these. So second medical opinion, which we're all used to. So two consultations per year per policyholder, and can include a third opinion as well. And you could use that potentially for existing treatment. So it could be that you want to have a look at, you want a second opinion on the treatment that you're getting. And I heard a great example the other day of someone that was having cancer treatment and was a bit concerned that they still didn't feel quite right, and it wasn't necessarily going in the right way. So they used second opinion to get a UK specialist, and they're all UK specialists that we use, to review the treatment that she was having. And this particular person was the leading cancer specialist, and they had a very special scanner, only one of them apparently. They went through this scanning process, actually found that the cancer was more aggressive than originally thought, so they were able to step up that treatment and ensure that client got exactly what was required. So yeah, it's a really good remote GP. So we've made a recent change to this. So rather than having 8 available appointments per year, you now get unlimited remote GP access. That's right, unlimited. So, if you were to take out a typical private plan, I would imagine you'd be paying probably £15 to £25 a month for that service. So your client's going to get that free of charge with no exclusions with their plan. So we know how hard it is to get in to see a GP. What a great facility for your client to have. And we remind the client of this every year. We write out to them and say, look, just to tell you, you've still got these fantastic things you can use. And we as an organisation want your client to use them. It's absolutely vital that they take advantage of these. And again, particularly in this difficult time where people are trying to cost out things, if they can save £25 a month, once they realise it's with their, it could be a £10 life policy, that's great value. So you've also got mental health support in there as well, up to 8 psychotherapy consultations per annum per policyholder. Again, that's a fantastic saving, you know, if people need that support. There's a wide range of different things in there for people. So there's that anxiety, panic and phobia, depression, substance abuse, a wide range of different things. Again, the client can tap into completely free of charge. So really fantastic. Physiotherapy, as you get older, inherently you do your back in. I don't know about you, my back's a nightmare, so it will go unexpectedly. Well, again, your client can potentially have up to 8 physiotherapy sessions per year with no exclusions. So they might take a policy out with, you know, limited back pain, and they can claim straight away. So again, you think of the cost saving, you know, again, probably £45 to £75 a session if you were to do that privately. You get that as part of the plan as a non-contractual benefit. And then annual health MOT as well. So the client each year will get a little file that comes out to them in the post. They do about 20 different finger pricks on their finger, because I know I've done it myself, and then they fill it with blood, send it back to us, and then we send them a report through the Square Health app, which is where they'll access all of these benefits, and we'll give them their test results. And then dependent on that, if there's any markers that come up, they'll then get referred to a Square Health GP free of charge to talk them through next steps, and that might be a referral onwards to a consultant that they then look to do privately, unless they've got private healthcare as well. So there's loads within here. It's a real selling point to your client. It's a real reason, you know, not only because the policy is going to give them great protection and you'll have done the fact find with them and found out why that is, but actually all of these things help just to retain that. And another reason, when they're looking at their direct debits, deciding which ones to perhaps not continue anymore when their mortgage costs have gone up, when, you know, the price of food has gone up, is another reason why they need to keep the plan on board. And a good topic of conversation for you and your clients each year. So just finally, a little summary of some of the key points we've been talking about today, and a couple of other things I'll just mention as well. So Claire touched upon the broad heart attack definition. So we're not worried about troponin in the bloodstream, enzymes in the heart. When it's a heart attack, it is consultant effective definition. And as I just mentioned, the online health services, which I think are fantastic. Now, I just want to touch upon a couple of things that aren't on here. Now, you may see, particularly if you're using something like Underwrite Me, sometimes our de facto rating will come up not as 5-star. And you may think, well, why is that? Is there something I need to be concerned about the policy? And I just want to give you some real assurance that that isn't the case. The reason that we aren't 5-star is firstly that we don't currently offer waiver of premium. However, that shouldn't now be too far away. I can't give any dates yet, but we obviously are very excited about getting that on board. And the other, that we don't currently offer exclusions. So again, as I mentioned and Claire mentioned, you're in or you're out of a policy. So the quality of policy, as confirmed by CI Expert, is fantastic. But if you wonder why that is, those are the reasons. And the other thing I just wanted to point out is how important I think brand recognition is. So, you know, the HSBC brand is a very strong one in the market. We know that we are the only top 6 lender that has its own same branded life policy and life protection plans as well. So if you're talking about HSBC mortgages, for me, I would say it's a good one to bring into the conversation, is HSBC protection, and hopefully tie that up all nicely for your client. So that's all from myself and from Claire on the presentation today. Thanks very much for spending time listening to us. I guess I'll just give you the opportunity to ask any further questions while we're here. I'll stop sharing my screen.
Thank you, and I'll reshare because I've got a little bit just to finish off with it as well. Yeah, but if anybody's got any questions, now is the time to ask them, and then I can talk you through the process for getting agencies and who to contact. So I'm just going to share the last few slides that I have, which bear with me a second. So are there any other questions for Claire or Ashley? So I should zap through this. It's the easiest way to do it. No. Okay. So you can still put questions in the chat box if you want whilst I'm talking. But thank you both for that presentation. I do think that the HSBC proposition is a really good one. And that underwriting tool, actually, I've seen it in action and it really is quite amazing. The fact that you get a PDF at the end of your inquiry that you can use to submit with your case, I think is just really, really good. So, and that's only one aspect of it, obviously. So, so we're very excited. If you want an agency and you haven't got an agency, get in touch either with our customer service team or with your key account manager. If it's an existing agency, we can arrange to get that switched over. If it's an agency which, or if you don't have an agency at all, then we can talk you through the process. So there's an application form, a few extra questions, and then we can get that submitted for you. Just sort of whilst we've got your attention, a few other things just to catch up on. So obviously we're now on countdown to Consumer Duty. There's a Consumer Duty hub on the TMA website, and actually we've just released another Consumer Duty podcast. So go and have a look at that. It just gives you a bit more information and talking you through things maybe you might not have considered, or maybe you have, but it's just an opinion maybe on some of those things. So go and have a look at the Consumer Duty questions on that. Sorry, I have got a question from Mark Pickman. So how long does it take to complete the registration? Okay, so those should, Mark says it's been 2 weeks since he submitted the application. So I think, first of all, it depends on whether the application form has got some additional questions with it. So if you completed both of those things together, we're looking about a week to 10 days, are we, Ashley?
Yeah, I think we've had quite a big surge in a short period. Unfortunately, we've had one person off a bit poorly, so it's taken a little bit longer than we'd like. But I'm myself and my team are going to be supporting doing some of that work as well, just to speed it up. But yeah, usually it would be a week, 10 days, I would say, but taking slightly longer at the moment. So apologies, Mark. If you, I think we're aware of that particular one, so we're on the case.
Okay, I will send you a list of the ones that are still outstanding, Ashley.
Great stuff.
We can,
yeah,
chase all of those through.
Yeah, no problem at all.
Rebecca says she's new to HSBC Life and haven't registered yet. Would really appreciate a DM call, get in touch. So probably if we can get someone from HSBC to pick that up, and we will too. Yeah,
no problem at all.
I think we've got your contact details, Rebecca. So we'll get whoever the account manager is for your area to give you a call after we finish today. Okay, so just last few things then. So we've also opened our TMA awards nominations. So this is for there are some self-nomination awards. If you have done something, or you look at the categories, there may be something that you think, oh, actually I could nominate my business for that, then please do have a look at that. And I would really encourage you to look at the providers and the lenders and all of our partners, because there will be awards for them as well, and they are just purely voted for by you as advisors. So please do go on and have a look at those. If you haven't got the email, you'll find it on our website. So as I say, do really encourage you to have a look at that. And our big event for this year is our conference, which is happening on the 9th of November at the ICC in Birmingham City Centre. It's a whole day event. Again, we'll be drip feeding some of the content that day out, but you can actually now go and reserve yourself a place as our event for that. So again, I would encourage you to go and have a look on our website, talk to your key account manager, talk to the guys on the broker support team, and they'll help you get registered. I've just got one extra question. Oh, do we just register online at HSBC Life?
No, it needs to go via the support team actually, but I'll take your details and we can. I'll get in touch and talk you through it. No problem. It's Sarah, isn't it? Sarah Baker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I think I might have another one. Neil Johnson. Oh, kit looks amazing on CI Expert. What is the ETA in IP? And will it be as good?
well actually obviously yes, of course. No, we're doing a lot of research in the marketplace, our product team at this moment, because we don't want to just release something that everybody else is doing. We want to really look at the marketplace, take a lot of advisor feedback, and see that we can see what we can offer really that's enhancing the products that are available to customers rather than just rehashing the same old things. So absolutely, yeah, we're expecting big things from this. As far as a specific timescale, I can't tell you exactly. I did ask this very question to a member of our product team a couple of weeks ago. We have an 18-month runway of development, and it is on that 18-month runway. But being absolutely honest, it's not going to be this year. It will be at some point, I would think towards the mid to the end of next year. But we are all really excited about it. So yeah, watch this space.
Thank you, Claire. So that concludes our presentation today. I'd like to thank Claire and Ashley for joining us and doing that this morning. That was really great, and as I said, it's a good news story at a time when consumer duties are hurtling down the line at us, so it's a good subject to be talking about. Your CPD certificates will be sent out to you via email today or tomorrow. I've had another final question. Is HSBC sourced on the platforms? Yes, it is. So you can find it on all of the normal platforms: Underwrite Me, iPipeline, Solution Builder, SureWeb, and the Exchange. And I expect there are probably one or two others as well. Claire?
Webline, did you say Webline? I can't remember.
Webline.
No, Webline, it's available on also if you want to access through there. Yeah, all the platforms.
Okay. So if there aren't any other questions, and you've all been really active this morning, so thank you for that. I'll conclude today's event, and we will send you a copy of the slides that we can with the CPD certificate. I'll just pick that up with you separately. Okay.
Lovely.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Look forward to speaking to you all. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.